Hey, Care Group leaders, we love you guys. Here is what is new and on the docket and important for you to know this week. The first is that me and the Care Group coaches got together. Great time. We're going to be starting probably at least 4 new care groups, which is fantastic. God's answering prayer. The kingdom is being built up. People are being discipled. So rejoice, 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 for the Lord is good. Just want to make you aware as well that these Care Group coaches are a resource for you. So I know some of you have been working with them closely. Some of you maybe have just exchanged a phone call or a text message, but remember, they're a great sounding board for you. They're there for you. They want to serve you. They want to love you. They want to pray for you and support you in any way they can. So take advantage of that resource. The Care Group coaches are here for you. Now, this Sunday, we're going to be in the book of Nehemiah chapter 6, verses 1 through 16. We're going to look at Nehemiah finishing the wall. This is it. After this sermon next week, Pastor Michael is going to really string together all the leadership principles that we've been examining and studying and talking about, and he's going to tie that all in together with the vision cast for where Summit View Church is going in the next 10 years. And so if you get a chance, I really would encourage you, please be there on that Sunday or grab the podcast. Now this week, we're going to finish up and we're going to look at Nehemiah. He's about 90% done this great building project, and yet he's still in the very last aspects of this project is going to face opposition. He is going to face discouragement. He is going to face criticism, and he's going to have to deal with his own fear. We see that the enemies, Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem, are going to come against him, and they're going to have 3 specific things that they want to do. Verses 1 through 4 of chapter 6, they're going to try to distract him. Nehemiah responds with, "I'm doing a great work and I cannot come down." So a question for your group is, what are the great works that God has given you to do? Many of you are married, many of you have kids, many of you lead ministries, many of you are in a position of supervising, management, authority in your workplace. What are the great works God has given you to do? And then in contrast to that, so what are the distractions that you face? And then as a group, have a discussion. What are some of the best practices? What are things you've learned? What are ways, rather, that you keep the main thing the main thing? We live in a really distracted culture, so that should be a very fruitful conversation. The next aspect is going to be in the next few verses where Nehemiah has to face basically being slandered. They are discrediting him. They're trying to get him killed ultimately by King Xerxes, and they're trying to freak him out. Nehemiah has his quick arrow prayer and just gets back to work. And so what can we learn from Nehemiah's example in the way that his enemies tried to discredit him, but again, he kept the main thing, and kept working. Then finally, their last ditch effort is Nehemiah goes to a trusted friend, a Jewish elder in Jerusalem, and he's been paid off and hired by his enemies. And this guy prophesies against him. He's trying to discredit Nehemiah. And so then the question becomes, if Nehemiah has discernment enough to recognize, hey, this guy's not speaking the word of the Lord, he's trying to set me up, we want to practice that same discernment. So what are some of the false prophecies that we hear? What are things, popular things, that can be profoundly unbiblical? Let's not be so naive to think that there are not people who can make a buck saying something unbiblical, to sell a book, to be on a radio show, to have a podcast, to host a conference. There are all sorts of false prophecies. We want to be people of the word. We want to be wise and discerning. We want to walk and speak and function in such a way that we follow closely with our God. And so that's where we're going this week. We love you guys, love what God's doing in and through you, and especially some of the fruit that's been coming from this Nehemiah series. So as always, we love you. We'll see you on Sunday.